Hello, I'm live. This was a totally impromptu idea. So let me pull my mat up and you can get yours and get comfortable. And we'll start a yoga session to stretch gently the body box. So let me tell you what the body box is in case you're not familiar with that concept. So if you think of each of your shoulders across, each of your hips across, and then from left shoulder to left hip and right shoulder to right hip. So that is the body box, and that's the region that we're going to be working with in this session. So this is a gentle stretch session, so it's a little less intense than what some of you might be used to in terms of a yoga practice. But it really is, gentle stretch is about nourishing the body, being there for yourself and really moving for the joy and sensation of movement. So let's start with a little breath practice. You can come and sit on the floor or in a chair in whatever position is comfortable for you. I have my meditation cushion, so I'm going to use that and sit on my knees. Okay, so we're going to do a little breath practice. Let's just settle into our seat first. You want to feel your sit bones. Just whatever part of your body is in contact with your supporting surface, just really settle into that space. And it's funny today, all day, I've been having a hard time breathing. It's not sick or anything. It's really muggy today. And I know it could be other things too, but I'm feeling that shortness of breath. So whatever you might be experiencing as you tune in, just notice those sensations. And the air just feels so heavy today here. And just start to regulate your breath so it becomes a little fuller, a little more rhythmically even. Maybe a little deeper if that's available. And maybe even set an intention for your practice. What is it that you want to feel or experience, or how do you want to treat yourself during this practice? So let's take the hands and make two light fists right at the level of the heart. The elbows, make sure that they're not dropping down to the floor. You want to keep them parallel to the floor. And we are going to do a little movement with the breath. So as you open one arm, and if you'll notice, I'm really using the tension in my arm as I pull it open. So I'm feeling this whole line of fascia on the upper arm pulling. And then I'm pulling the opposite arm away. So that's the inhale. The chest opens, and then the arms come back together on the exhale. Same thing to the other side. So I'm pushing with the back of my wrist into space, breathing in nice and deep. And then exhale and bring the hands back together at the center. Now we'll open both arms at the same time on the inhale. Pressing into space with the backs of the wrists. And exhale, arms back to the center. Let's repeat that from the top. So inhaling, opening one side. Exhaling, coming back to center. Inhaling, opening to the other side. Exhaling, come back to center. And then opening both sides. And exhaling back to center. Now that you've got the hang of that, feel free to hang out. If something feels really good, feel free to add a little more movement or anything to just feel more through your body. So you can maybe tilt your head away from the side you're stretching, maybe towards. You could even do some kind of a side bend. So I want you to feel free to make this what you want as you continue to breathe and open. Maybe holding the breath or maybe taking an extra breath before you bring your hands back. As you open to both sides, you can start to play with maybe opening the chest a little more, even tilting the chin up towards the ceiling, or even bringing the shoulder blades back together and the elbows drawing in towards each other. And open. And then release the arms. So just noticing how that felt. Any sensation of change in sensation in circulation, in your awareness of your muscles and tissues. And then we'll transition onto our backs. So we'll start, as you come down, just have the knees bent in constructive rest with the feet about hip width apart, maybe a little wider, especially if you feel like you're having to hold your legs up. If you have them a little wider with your heels out to the edge of the mat, and then allow your knees to fall in, then you might feel a little less stress or strain around the groin. So we're just allowing this shift in posture. Taking some deep breaths here as, again, you settle into the surface of support and release your body to that support. And you know, sometimes, especially if we're in like a group class, it can be a little, it can make you feel a little self-conscious to make noise. But if you're at home and you're free to do it, then please do make noise as you exhale. You can sigh, you can shh, you can make all kinds of sounds just to release any excess tension that you're holding. It helps, you know. Now we're going to straighten the legs one at a time. So before you do, go ahead and press into the ground with your right foot and then straighten your left foot. So as you do that, you might want to do it again. Just notice that when you press into the floor, you'll feel a little bit of a shift through the pelvis, and you'll be able to, maybe even you'll feel a little bit through the upper body box on the opposite shoulder. You might feel that pressing in as well as you lengthen that leg. And let's go ahead and start here with just one leg straight. So what I'd like you to do is you're going to start to bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Now, of course, there are a lot of different ways to do this, but what I would like you to do is maintain your nose straight up toward the ceiling. So you're not going to turn your head, okay? You're going to keep your nose straight up, and you're just going to drag your ear towards your shoulder. And just maybe hold it there for a moment. Take a breath. And then back to center. And let's just repeat that on the right side. And back. And one more time. Breathing in. And back. And just noticing where you felt that. Now we're going to go to the other side. So bring the left ear to the left shoulder. Now you might find that you're tempted to bring the shoulder up towards the ear. There's no harm in that. But see if you can do it another way and perhaps just leave the shoulder nice and heavy and just move the head. Deep breath. And then release back to center. Okay, now we're going to take the hands and interlace them behind the head. Now already, as soon as you do that, you might feel a bit of lengthening through the trunk and the spine. See if it's possible for you to allow your elbows to rest against the ground. If you're really tight in through the underarm or even the front of the chest, then it might be a little harder for you to have your elbows down on the ground. If that's the case, you can always put a pillow or something under your head and arms so that you can maybe rest against that support. But try your best to just relax wherever you find yourself. And we're going to repeat that ear to shoulder movement. So go ahead and take your right ear to your right shoulder. Again, the nose stays facing straight up, and we're not going to lift the arms, we're just going to drag. So drag. Now you might feel more side involvement on that short side now as you move. Take a breath there. And then back to center. And again, shorten the right side. Move your ear towards that side. And release. And last time. And release. Now completely let go of everything that may have been helping you to make that movement. So completely release. And we'll go left side. So we're going to draw left ear towards shoulder, but then the shoulder, of course, is going to move away, shortening that side and back. Let's repeat that. And release. And last time. Good. Okay, and now you can release the arms. And let's lengthen now both legs. So just notice what you might feel now in terms of any difference between the right and the left sides of the body. Maybe one side, probably the side you were the of the long leg might feel a little closer to the ground, maybe not. Just something to look for. And then we're going to now dig the left heel into the ground and drag that leg up. Oops. Of course, if you have a sticky mat, then your mat might come with you. So just do your best to drag your foot back to standing. So from here, we'll start bringing the left ear to the left shoulder, keeping the nose straight up. Just bring head to knee, head to knee. Bring the head to the shoulder and back. Good. One more time, 2 more times. Last time. And then just make sure you completely relax any contraction. And then we'll go to the other side. So ear towards shoulder. Now, I notice something very interesting on this side. It's going a lot further towards the shoulder than on the other side. And of course, you might find some really big differences like that for yourself, side to side. So I obviously have some restrictions on the left that I don't have on the right. Just something to be aware of. And then relax. And now we'll have the hands behind the head. Feeling yourself get a little longer through the spine, maybe a little more space between the ribs with the hands behind the head. And we'll go to the left first, so shortening that left side as we bring the upper body to meet that hip. And release. And of course, you can do this in your own timing if you want to go a little faster, if you want to hold a little longer, then feel free to do that. And one more time on that side. And then we'll go to the other side, the right side. So shortening the right as we drag the upper body towards that right hip and back. Now, one thing you also might want to become aware of is if you move back to the center, that you really return to neutral. Really allow yourself to let go before you complete the next movement. Sometimes we tend to hold tightness and contraction in anticipation of the next movement. Okay, so let's release the arms there and straighten that leg. Want to feel left side in comparison to right side. Okay, now we are going to turn onto one side. So I'm going to turn towards you all. And if you want something under your head here, other than your arm, you can grab a blanket or pillow. I think I'm going to use a blanket. And just make sure that your head isn't crooked here. You just want it to be about parallel with the ground. And then bring your knees up to about the level of your hips. Just settle here for a moment. Adjust yourself to be comfortable. The other thing we don't want, and why I have this here, I mean, it's okay if you're a little bit like this, but it's not very comfortable on the neck. So especially if it's too wide of an angle. So something under the head just helps take that out. Okay, so we're going to start by bringing the top knee in towards the chest. And if you want here, you can give a tug, a little gentle tug, or just hold your knee with your hand, or use the strength of the core if you prefer. Keep that leg in for a moment. And then we're going to press that heel straight down to the bottom of the mat, staying at about level with the hip. So we don't really want this kind of thing to happen where the foot is dropping to the floor, and we could have the leg up higher, but let's just try for the moment, unless you want to try something different or you experience any discomfort, just have the leg about even with the hip. And then from here, we're going to swing the leg back into space and just notice how that feels and what might have to happen so that you are not rolling back on yourself as you do that. And then back, taking that knee in towards the chest. Exhale and extend the leg straight down and swing the leg back. And then back into the chest. Now, if it's comfortable for you, go ahead and extend that heel forward into space and hold, and then swing the leg back. Good, and then bring the knee in. Now you can keep going just straight down and back, or if you are comfortable, go ahead and extend forward. Again, we don't want necessarily the foot to drop or to be above the hip, but right about equal with the hip. You're gonna feel this, okay? And back. Now, we're going to add a little upper body movement here in opposition to the leg. So this is more about feeling than what it looks like. So don't worry if you're doing it right or wrong, just follow the feeling. So as you press that foot down and away and swing it to the back, allow that front arm to come out and reach into space. So there's this opposition, diagonal line in the same side of the body, the upper side of the body. And then as you bring the knee in towards the chest, allow the upper body to move behind you in a twist. And now the arm doesn't have to come to the ground. It may be up in the air. And if you want to extend that leg forward, you can do so. Okay, so now you know what that looks like. Let's take a pause for a moment, especially if this is going, ah. So just rest for a moment. And then we'll start by bringing the knee into the chest, opening that leg to the back and swing as you reach forward. Enjoy the length. There's so much length to be had here in that side of the body. And then as you swing the leg back and then bring the knee to the chest, opening and reaching out behind you. Again, there is a nice long line here, and notice where you're feeling it, you know. Also this nice opportunity to really hollow out the belly and use that hollowing out to deepen the twist. And let's do that one more time. So swinging the leg back, reaching forward. And when you're ready, just coming through and twist. And then allowing everything to just come back and rest. Onto your back for a moment. I just want you to feel again any comparison in what you feel from the right side of the body to the left side. So you might notice that the side that we worked, so the upper side that you were working, whether it was your left or your right, might feel a lot closer to the ground, might feel a lot more released, might feel longer, which makes sense because we were stretching it. And if you don't feel anything, don't worry about that. These can be very subtle sensations at first, and then the more you start to work with the body on this level of sensation, really paying attention to all the little details, the easier it gets to feel them and notice them, and they become quite prominent. Okay, we're going to change sides. I'm going to swing myself around here. So, to settle yourself and adjust whatever you need to in terms of your comfort and support. And just check in to see how you feel. Have your knees about level with your hips. The other thing is to watch for, I didn't mention on the other side, is you don't want to have your feet behind you. You want to have your feet pretty much straight down from your knees. Okay. So we'll start just by bringing the top knee in towards the chest. And again, you can either use your core to hold here, or you can give a little squeeze or hold with your And then when you're ready, go ahead and release that. And let's press that heel down towards the bottom of the mat, staying at about level with the hip. Just straight down. And just notice, anything that you're feeling. Girdle. You might feel a little space happening under your side body. And then go ahead and swing that leg back. And again, notice, okay, what needs to engage for me to not feel like I'm going to fall over? So you might feel some core. You might feel some strength through that upper hip. Allow your lower body to be your support and to be heavy and grounded. And then back, we'll take it back to the chest. And straight down and swing back. And one more time into the chest. And open straight down and swing back. And as you bring it in this time towards the chest, if you want to open straight out at the level of the hip, feel free to do that. You can hold it for a moment, or you can simply rest. Okay, so we're going to start now to body into this movement. So let's start by bringing knee to chest. And then swing that leg back as we reach forward with the upper body. So enjoying that sensation of length. Holding for a few breaths if you want, or just continuing to move in a nice flow. It's really up to you how fast or slow you go here. And then back into the chest as we open up and twist to the side. And release. Coming back through, taking that leg back, reaching back into the twist. If you want to straighten that forward leg, you will feel it through the whole line of the under leg, most likely. But just notice where you do feel it. So we're all built a little different, of course, and we all have different levels of flexibility. So you might not feel it exactly where I say. And then go ahead and release everything back. Take a moment. And then we'll flip onto the back again and see how we feel. So now, since we worked both sides, they should feel a little more similar in sensation. You still might notice some differences. And we're ready now that we're here and have stretched through some of the body blocks, that we can take our Shavasana. So Shavasana is all about not doing. So allow yourself these moments of not doing. And sensations might come on quite strong when you're in Shavasana as you kind of let go of the work and slow down with the breath. Allowing the body to just be heavy. And with each exhale, just releasing more and more of the body weight to the ground. Permission to be still. Permission to let go. Permission to be quiet. So you are more than welcome, of course, to take more time in Shavasana if you need it. If you are ready to come out, let's go ahead and take a long body stretch, and whatever that might look like for you, to get the arms overhead. Tightening all the muscles around the bones as you reach. And release, bringing everything back to center. Now you can either roll onto your side, you can come into constructive rest first, and then roll onto your side to come up to a seated position. And if you want to take a moment there, just feeling really good in my back and I don't want to move. Okay, when you are ready. Go ahead. And again, if you want to be seated in a chair, that's fine. We'll just close by bringing the hands together in Anjali Mudra at the heart center. Feeling left hand pressing into right, right hand pressing into left, that equilibrium, that perfect centered place. Take a deep breath in. Release the breath through the mouth. Take a deep breath in. And release through the nose. Thanks for joining me for this quick impromptu gentle stretch session. I hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you again. Have a great day. All right. Goodbye.